I think there are parts of the editing that get very stressful, but mostly I look forward to it because this is the point where everything, all the hard work and all the effort and all this teamwork and time and money all gets filtered into the actual movie. So usually, leading up to editing, I get very eager to start cutting on it because I'm very eager to see all those elements kind of gel together and not exist as this sort of, scattered thing. So generally I like it, but there are parts of it that get stressful if you get into that. Sometimes a scene comes together very easy, and sometimes there are scenes that threaten to kick your ass because they just are difficult to get the flow right, but overall it's a pretty enjoyable experience. I think the part that makes the movie, that has the most positive impact on the movie, is scrutinizing all the footage that you shoot for performance, scrutinizing the footage for performance, and kind of selecting all those key moments where it's a glance from Emily or a line that Jason, gives him one particular take that's really good, or Joe says one line a certain way in this one take, and you have to go through a lot of footage to find all those key little moments that end up getting edited together. It takes a lot of time and a lot of concentration and a lot of patience, so that's the part that, if any of it tries my nerves, that's probably the part of it, but it's also one of the most important parts of post-production. The normal way of doing this, when you have the proper time and the proper money, is you do a cut of the movie, and then you turn around and do sound design, and then next you do, the music score. But we don't have the time or the money to do that, so we're actually doing all of that all at the same time, where the movie's being cut while sound design is being recorded and while music score is being put together. And then it's just long editing sessions, just beating these scenes into submission, and it's kind of like sculpting with clay. You got to throw a bunch of stuff together and then see what's working and what doesn't work, and then start shaving off the stuff that doesn't work, and you keep working it and working it, working it until you get it as good as you can get it. Usually, I'll have a 12-hour, 12-hour, 13-hour, 14-hour edit session, and then go home and crash, and I'll get up and I'll have the next morning, like 16 cups of coffee, and about halfway through the first cup of coffee, I start thinking about everything that I'd edited the night before, and it's a lot of kind of, now that I've had a little bit of space, I've had a night to sleep on it, I think about, well, would it be better if I added this shot, or trimmed this shot back, or added a sound effect at this point in the scene, and I kind of sit there when it's quiet and there's nothing going on, and drink my morning coffee and kind of come to those decisions about things that I'll try in that edit session for that day. Specifically with music, like a lot of scenes I didn't know what the music would sound like in a certain scene, and then as music either came in through Gus, who's doing the music score, or as we got permission to use various songs from various bands, it's like then suddenly I started experimenting and coming up with, oh, well, what would it sound like if this song were in this scene? Or so I left myself some, I guess, room to explore and experiment, and that stuff's been coming out great. But the stuff that I really had in my head, like, oh, I need it to look exactly like this, then yeah, this has been, it's turning out to be the movie that I had in my head. Minus, there's always, the budget's going to clip your wings, and you're never going to have enough time to do everything that you want. You're never going to have enough money to do everything you want. But, other than those kinds of limitations, it's the movie that I had in my head when Jason and I were writing the script. The cast and crew of the movie, obviously they had their scripts, and they were able to read the screenplay, and then people that were on set, some of the crew were on set every single day, or almost every single day of shooting, and they feel like they have a pretty good idea of what the movie is like, what it's going to be like. And these people who were on set for all these days of shooting and who read the script, they're coming in and seeing finished scenes, or scenes that are 99.9% finished. And the overwhelming, unanimous reaction is wow, that's not what I expected at all, which I think is pretty cool. And then everybody's happy about it. Everybody's getting jazzed seeing the movie come together. So I think that that's the biggest thing the fans can expect or look forward to, is that this just doesn't look like another horror movie. This doesn't follow any kind of, whatever the hot trend is in horror right now. It doesn't follow any of that stuff. If you're either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it, but it will definitely be a breath of fresh air if you're a horror fan, because it's just not something that that you're accustomed to seeing right now. So that, in that aspect of it, I'm really proud of it.